You ever heard of a gentle giant? Amen. Well, God has a way. God has a way of speaking loud through the quietest vessel. And this is my little brother here, and I just took it upon when the Lord gave him to me. The Lord said, no, don't let him just sit there. Put him out there. Push him. And he's a big load to push because I'm a little fella. But anyway, but glory to God. See, it's one thing about it. I'm going to give glory where glory is due. Glory to God for all of his vessels. But this is one vessel that I'm just ecstatic and proud to be associated with, because anything I ask of him, my phone will ring and he'll say, Minister Tommy, now I'm checking it. He give me details. And I'm doing it for a reason, because God said he's in training. Amen. He said he's training him to take on a role, and this is a very important role, because he's going to be leading people that have brought him in. He's going to be leading ministers that brought him into the ministry, but he's going to be leading them in the business of God. Amen. Yeah. And we're going to lift him up. So I'm going to ask that you stand in honor of receiving a man of God that God is molding. He broke him. He's shaping him. He's molding him. Amen. And he's filling him with the word for us this morning. Minister Carlos. Amen. Well, you better live up to that.
Amen. Oh, man, that's funny that you talk about, the molding and the shaping and the vessels, because that's what I'll be talking about today. Sometimes, when you are a minister and you write your sermons, you're going through and you study and you write them, but something in you're not sure. Like, I don't know if this is from God or not, I just don't know if this is from him. I don't know if I'm really hearing his voice. But then when you come into the house of God and somebody confirm it for you, like, oh man, that was God I was talking to. That was God, that these words that I wrote down, it was God. And I was laughing when you said gentle giant, because all my life I used to get killed for that. Like, being the size that I am and being as nice as I am, being as nice of a God that I am, and being as quiet as I am, people would kill me for that. Like, they would be mad at me because I wasn't mean. They would be mad because I was nice. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and then, when people see me and they be like, man, he big. He sit back there quiet and he just sitting back there, and they be like, man, you look mean. You must be mean. I might have to have a gun to shoot you if I ever fight you or something like that. And I tell them, I'm like, look, I'm probably the nicest guy you'll ever meet. I'm not what you think I am, But this is I like this scripture, one, because this is a scripture that I've preached on before. And when I first started preaching, this was one of the first things I preached on. And it's a very common scripture. You can find everybody done preached on this. But I will give it to you how God gave it to me. And that's all I can do, All right. So the scripture is Jeremiah 18, 1 through 6. This is talking about the potter and the clay. It says, the word which came to Jeremiah from the Lord, saying, arise, go down to the potter's house, and there I will cause you to hear my words. Then I went down to the potter's house, and there was making something at the wheel. And the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter. So he made it again into another vessel, as it seemed good to the potter to make. Then the word of the Lord came to me, saying, O house of Israel, can I not do with you as the potter, says the Lord? Look as the clay is in the potter's hand, so are you in my hand, O house of Israel. You may be seated. So like I said, this is something that I spoke about before. And the last time I left out a part. And that was on purpose because I only speak what God only gives me to speak. And I remember Pastor came up to me, he said, Carlos, you forgot one thing. You got to go into the fire next. And that's what I'll be talking about today. Going into that fire next. But I want to start with y'all, in school, I remember in school, this is one of the things that we used to do. We used to make, I don't know if anybody else in here made pottery in school or, which reminds me, well, I don't know why they taking all these, life lessons out of school, like home economics and teaching people how to cook. Like I remember in elementary, I learned how to change diapers in like 4th grade. They come to the class, they be like, hey, anybody in here got a baby brother or sister? You raise your hand, you say, yeah. It's like, come on. We finna teach y'all how to change diapers. We finna teach y'all this. And I don't know why they taking this stuff out of school. But I appreciate that because eventually I had to change some diapers. But when I remember making pottery and making clay, making pottery, you really don't know what you're doing. You can only, take so much from the instructor because you have so many people in this class that he has to teach. So, you can only take what you have. And I remember, I started out trying to make a bowl, I started, that's how I started. Then I was like, nah. Then I started trying to make a cup, that's how you start. But, it ended up an ashtray. That's how it ended. My mama, at the time, my mama ain't smoke or nothing. like mama, here go an ashtray. And then the worst part, it don't even look like an ashtray. It just look like it just looked like something that was made, It just looked like something that was made. It don't even look like an ashtray. So, as you read Jeremiah, Jeremiah was talking to Israel, and they were doing all kind of crazy stuff, And Jeremiah, the prophet, God was like, hey, look, man, I'm gonna need y'all to go talk to them. I'm gonna need you to go talk to them because this is what I'm about to do to them if they don't change their ways. But when we doing that process of making pottery, and we in God's hands, and God is shaping and molding us. That's one of the best things because He's right there. He's right there with His hands on us. He's right there talking to us. Right there giving us what we need and shaping us into something that He can use us later. But what does people? What we do? What do we do? We sitting there talking to God, and we like, man, God, I don't want to be what you making me into. I don't want to be, I don't want to be nothing else. I don't want to be that that vase that you making me into, something big, something large that you making me into. I don't want to be that. I want to sit over here. I want to sit over here and be a cup. Look at all those nice cups over there. That's what I want to be, God. That's what I want to be. Man, look at all those nice bowls over there. That's That's what I want to be over there. That's what we do as people. We start looking at the world. We start looking at the world. We start looking at other people that stand in this position. And we don't know what God has made them to. We don't know what God has made them into. You standing up there thinking that they something big, but they something real small. Because they also looked at other people like, you know what, God, I want to be like that. I want to be a cup. I want to be a bowl. And we sit there and we fight him. And we fight and argue with him. And like, no, God, I don't want to be there. We sit there and, fight and God is telling us, this is the most delicate process, though. When you start out making it, it's delicate. You can't be, hard making this thing. You have to be soft. You have to be kind. You have to be gentle making this thing. So that's what we do with God. We tell God, I don't want to be none of that. I don't want to be nothing that you trying to make me into. And God is telling you, no, I want you to be a vase. I want you to be something I can feel more into you. I can't put a lot into a cup. I can't put a lot into no bowl. But see, this big vase, it can hold multiple things. It can hold multiple things. It can hold more of these things. So as you go through this process of being made, and God is talking to you and shaping you and molding you, and he's right there with you. There's another process once he's done. See, he has to sit you to the side and let you dry. See, he gotta let you dry for at least a day. For at least a day, he gotta let you dry. And see, in that time, and that process is important too. But we don't think it is important because, that's the time we feel like God is not there. That's the time we feel like God don't have his hands on us no more. That's the time that we feel like God is not talking to us no more. And we sitting over there to the side and we sitting there looking like, we sitting over there like, man, they over there, they coming out to kill, they coming out the fire. And I'm just sitting over here and God is touching them and holding them and molding and taking them out of the fire. But I'm sitting over here, collecting dust. But that's how we feel, don't we? See, when we feel like when God is not talking to us, or when we feel like God don't have his hands on us, we feel like we left alone. We feel like we all by ourselves. We feel like, oh man, I know God. God, where you go? Where are you? Like you was just holding me. You was just talking to me. You was just shaping me. You was just molding me. Where'd you go? Now I'm sitting over here collecting dust, but we don't know and we don't understand that we have to dry. That we have to have time to dry. That we have to go through this process. See, because we don't understand when we go into that fire, any imperfections that's in us, like water, like air. See, the air, you don't even see it. The water you can see, but the air, you don't see it. You don't even know it's in there. We dealing with things that years ago, that we've dealt with. We feel like we set it to the side, or we feel like we gave it up, but we really didn't. We're still holding on to it. We're still holding on to it, and we don't know it's there. But when we go into the fire, it comes up. It shows up. And it causes cracks, and it causes dents, it causes imperfections. See, that's what the fire represents. The fire represents the purification of oneself. You know? So we're sitting over there and we wondering where God is. So when he comes back and he grabs you and takes you, right? Then now it's time to go into the fire. You know, he'll turn the fire on and he'll set you in there. And then when you go in there, you're sitting there and you're like, I think I can handle this. I think I can take this. You know, it is a little warm, you know. You know, it is a little hot. You know, I'm sweating just a little bit, but I think I could take it. But as the fire rises up, then you start scrambling around looking like, hey, God, this thing is hot, man. This thing is hot. Hey, what we doing? What are we doing? You know, I don't know. You know, the devil is kind of on me here. You know, like, God, what are we doing? And then that's another time where we think God has took his hands off of us. You know, that's another time that we feel like God ain't listening to us. You know, but God told Job, what did he tell Job? You know, he told Job, hey, you are, you know what I'm saying, I know you're gonna be for me. Regardless of what comes against you. You know, regardless what touches you, I know you're gonna be for me. And God told the devil, like, hey man, go try him, you know. I know what he's gonna do, but you can have fun, have all the fun you want. You know, just don't touch this one thing. He said, just don't touch this one thing. You can't touch this one thing. You can do whatever you want to him. There's just one thing you can't have. He said, one thing that you can't have. So as we get in that fire, we looking around, we like, man, this devil on me. Hey, God, what are we doing? You know, you sitting down and your things start going on in your life. You start losing things. You know, the things, but we don't understand. You lose the things of this world. You know, the things that you covet, the things that you hold of this world, those are the things that you lose. You know, you lose those type of things. So when we start losing stuff, and and the things that we put before God, those are the things that we lose. Like, you know, you put your car before God. That's the thing he gonna take. You know, and I understand, you know, a lot of us, we put people before us. But you know, we put our mama, we put our daddy, we put our children before God. You know, and we sitting there like, God, I love you, but my child. God, I love you, but my mama. And God is like, hey, they will perish. I won't. I last forever. They don't. And you're going to put them before me? You're going to put them before me? Now, God might take that person from you. You know, we don't want to talk about it, but it's the truth. God might take that person from you. And then we feel like, oh man, this is God's fault. No, it was your fault. Not only do they have their own life to live, you have your own life to live. And sometimes God might take a person. And I remember one time I was asking God, I said, God, why did you do this? Why did you do that? And God said, did y'all ever think that I don't miss them just like y'all will? He said, I miss them too. I know you gonna miss them, but I miss them too. So I brought them home with me because I miss them. So as we sitting in the fire, we sitting there like, all right, man. I don't think this is gonna work out because I know that was me. That was me multiple times. I'm like, man, God, I can't do this preaching thing. And the things that I've gone through being a minister are nothing that I can't handle. People would make jokes of how big I am, or they ask me how tall I am, or they wonder how tall I am, or they wonder how big I am. And I would tell them all the time, they would make fun of me. I tell them all the time, I said, God made my shoulders this big because what he got for me, he know I can handle. See, on your scrawny shoulders, you ain't gonna be able to handle what he got for me. But see, these shoulders that I got here, see, I can handle it. I can handle those things. But we sit there and we think we can't handle it. And we think what we go through is not of God. We think God he's not talking to us. He think God that God don't have his hands on us. But see, God won't ask you to do nothing that he ain't already put into you. He won't ask you to do nothing that he ain't already put into you. He said, I put it into you when you was on the wheel. He said, when I was shaping and I was molding you, I put it into you. All those times that I was talking to you, all those times that I had my hands on you, that's when I was putting it into you. So now when I ask you to stand up and preach, it's already in you. When I ask you to stand up and pray, the prayer is already in you. He said, when I ask and stand you to prophesy, the prophecy is already in you. He said, you just got to do it. He said, you just got to do it. And he said, I understand that the fire is hot. He said, I understand that it don't feel good. I understand that you're sweating. See, but those are things that you need to get out of you. See, those are the things that I don't want for you. He said, those are the things that when you get up there where I got for you, you're going to crack. He said, you're going to bust. Those imperfections will show up. He said, that's when the things like not letting you dry come into effect. Those are the things like not getting all the air out of you come into effect when you go into the fire. He said, but when you're in the fire, just like the Hebrew boys, I'm in there with you. He said, I'm in there with you. See, I'm in there with you. Think you're by yourself, but if you look around, I'm standing there with you. I'm in there in the midst, ain't I? Ain't I in there? See, but what we do as a people, we start looking around, taking our eyes off of God. When who was Peter when he got out the boat? Was it Peter? You start walking on the water and you start feeling good, and then you start looking around. You like, then you start going down, you start sinking like, man, what's going on? No. See, I'm not doing nothing to you. You're doing it to yourself. See, you took your eyes off of me. See, you stop looking at me. You stop reading my word. See, you stop speaking when I told you to speak. You stop standing up when I told you to stand up. See, those are the things that he said he want out of us. He want it gone. Those things of our past that we hold on to, he want them gone. See, that's what the fire is for. The fire is for those things. See, yes, it might hurt. Yes, it might burn. But when he's done with you and he pull you out of the fire, and then he start putting shine on you, he start shining you up, And he starts shining you up and he starts propping you up like, hey, this is me. This is what I made. See, this vessel right here, this is what I made. This is the vessel that's gonna be for me. See, this is the vessel that's gonna do what I say. See, this is a vessel that's going to be humble. See, all those cups and all those bowls that y'all was looking at, y'all thought that was it, but no, this one right here is it. This one right here is it. The one that I'm holding up, this is right here. This is what's it. See, this is the one that's going to be for me. This is the one that's going to bring my children in. This is the one that's going to speak when I tell them to speak. See, this is the one that's going to stand up when I tell him to stand up. So when we go through the fire, it's nothing that we can't handle because it's already in us. It's already in us. See, the fire is for purification. It's for us to be purified. That's what the fire is for. See, we can't do this. We can't walk this walk. We can't preach this word. We can't speak the prophecies. We can't speak these things. We can't do these things without going through the purification. See, we can't do it without going through the fire. See, you know, when people come in and they be like, man, look at that preacher up there. I want to preach. But they ain't never been through nothing. But they ain't never been through the fire. See, they don't want to build nothing. They just want to walk right into it. They just want to walk right into it. They don't want to build it. They don't want to go through the sickness. They don't want to go through the pains. They don't want to go through the sleepless nights. See, sometimes at night, I sit up and I cry. Don't even know why I'm crying. Some days I sit up and I'm sad and don't even know why I'm sad. And I sit there and I be like, God, I thought you delivered me from depression. And God say, that's not depression that you're feeling. See, that's my heart that you're feeling. The feeling of the world, you know, the sadness that I feel for my people. That's what you're feeling. He said, that's my heart that you're feeling. The tears that I shed is what you're feeling. That's what you're feeling. The pain that I feel, that's what you're feeling. The sickness that I go through, that's what you're feeling. That's what I feel when I look at you. When I look at the people that's not doing what I say do. When I look at the people that's turning their backs on me when I was there for them. The people that blame me for something that I didn't even do. That's what you're feeling. You feeling me, you feeling my heart. Said, then they don't even be ready for the time that God might, like at 3, sometimes it's 3 o'clock in the morning. God say, wake up, I got something to tell you. See, they don't even want to go through that. See, those are the times that you should be excited. You know, when he wake you up in the middle of the night and they say, I got to talk to you. See, those are the times that you should love. Those are the times that you should be happy. Because, man, you don't have to talk to me. You don't have to do the things that you do for me. You don't have to do these things. But yet, even though it's 3 o'clock in the morning and I want to go to sleep, I'm happy and I'm rejoicing that you're all here. That you're here with me. But people don't want to go through the fire. They don't want to go through the purifications. And see, God told me, see, this is a word that I don't think is motivating. God said when you stand up there, you're going to be motivating the people. But people don't think this is a motivational speech. See, they feel like, oh, I'm being torn down. You know, God is telling me to do this, or God is mad at me, or God is this. No, this is motivation. See, this is motivation that I'm speaking. This is something that'll give you energy to keep you moving forward. This is what this is. This is to let you know that he still got you, that he's still holding you, that he still got his hands on you, that even though you're going through the fire, even though you're going through the fire, I'm still there. So you're not going in there by yourself. You're walking with me. You're walking with me. All you got to do is open your eyes and look that I ain't put nothing in you that you can't handle. I won't do it. I won't do it. He said, I won't ask you to do nothing that I ain't put in you. He said, I ain't put more on you than you can bear. That's a true statement. Yes, it may feel like something. Yes, you might have, like Job, you might have your friends accusing you. You might have your friends saying, man, what you done did? You had to do something to get this. You had to do this. When people talk bad about you, when people talk behind your back, when people slander your name, put dirt on your name. See, these are the things that you have to go through when you stand up here preaching his word. People will talk about you. People will slander your name. They will throw dirt on your name. They will tell you that you can't do it. They will tell you that you ain't doing nothing. See, they walk in and they see the empty seats. They say, oh, man, I don't think this is the church I'm supposed to be at. I don't think this is the church God called me to because the seats are empty. Because we ain't got no musicians, this ain't the church I'm supposed to sing at. That's what they say. This ain't the church I'm supposed to preach at because we ain't no seats is filled. Ain't enough people in here for me to preach. See, I like this. I like this because you know why? When God take us where we supposed to be, and I get up here and start preaching the word and the seats are filled, it won't mean nothing to me because I was preaching when ain't nobody was here. God was still using me when wasn't nobody here. When the seats are filled, I don't care nothing about that. It's about what I say. It's about what I say up here. It's about what, am I speaking what God told me to speak? That's what I'm supposed to be doing. Yes, I'm going to be happy and I'm going to rejoice. And I'm going to thank God that, hey, now we got more people that I can talk to God about. You know what I'm saying? Talk to God about. Or talk to them about God. Like, hey, you know, I used to be just like you. I used to laugh when they told me I was a preacher too. I laughed that man out of the church when he said I got a calling on my life. But look at me now. Look where I am now. So, always remember, I know we run out of time, always remember that you have to go through the fire. You have to go through these things. See, the devil gonna attack you more because you're preaching his word. Because you're standing up here willing to open yourself up. You're willing to trust God. You're willing to do these things of God. The devil is going to attack you more. But always remember, God is in the fire with you. You're not by yourself. So when you come to church, you got your brothers and sisters here with you. And when you're feeling down and you're feeling bad and you're feeling sad, They're here to lift you up. They look at you, and this is a seeing church. They look at you and be like, "Hey, I see what's going on. I see that you look sad. I see that you look down. Come give me a hug. Let me lift you up." Like Moses, when that staff went down, what happened? What happened? They started losing. But his brothers and his sisters, they were there behind him. They say, "Look, we got you. We'll hold your arms up for you. Thank you for standing here with us. Thank you for leading us out. Even though we didn't listen, even though we complained and we cried, thank you for being there." And now it's our turn to return the favor. See, all those late nights and those sleepy nights, it's not going in vain. Your congregation, your ministers, the people that you don't think will be there for you, or the people that you don't think that's going to hold you up. When God say hold the staff up, they're going to be there to hold you up. They're going to be there for you. Just hold on. It takes time. That's the thing we don't like. We don't like time. we don't like sitting. Like, God, we ready. I know you ready, but it ain't time yet. It ain't time. But my time is up. That's all I have for y'all today. Thank you. Doors of the church are open. First, for the ones that don't know God, don't know Christ, and want to get to know Him. For the ones that don't believe yet. Those are the people that are those are the people that we're calling here first.